Welcome to the Holistic Soul Podcast. I am your host, Ashley Tracy, and today we are going to explore the weekly horoscope for December 22nd through the 28th. Happy holidays to everybody. And really the biggest shift we have in the cosmos this week is Venus leaves the sign of Sagittarius and enters Capricorn. So she'll be meeting up with the Sun, who is now in Capricorn, and Mars. And so there's a lot of buildup of this Capricorn energy. So everything we talk about today, we're really feeling on multiple levels because Venus will be traveling with Mars and the Sun for the next month in the sign of Capricorn. So let's get into it. I'm going to do an overview of what Venus in Capricorn means and then do a sign by sign horoscope. So please stay tuned and you can fast forward to your sign. Most importantly, listen for your rising sign and your sun and your moon sign to get the most accurate picture of how this might show up for you. But overall, since Venus is changing signs, the way that we relate, the way that we love, the way that we value ourselves and our projects and our goals, and what we commit to is shifting. So as Venus moves into Capricorn, which will happen on December 24th, we're stepping out of this restless hunger for freedom and novelty and adventure where Venus was in Sagittarius. And we're stepping into something quieter, deeper, and more intentional. So this is not about settling, it's about choosing. So my tagline for this is, what are you choosing? Capricorn asks us simple but confronting questions like, what is worth your time and energy? Venus overall is the planet that governs love, relationships, money, pleasure, beauty, and self-worth. When she's traveling through Capricorn, the conversations shift. It's less about what excites us. That's a very Venus and Sagittarius energy that we just came out of, or we're moving out of this week, and is more about being in the moment and looking at what lasts. So this is a season of mature love, sustainable relationships. Now these can be romantic, platonic, business. It's whatever you're choosing to commit to. This is also the season of looking at our values because Venus rules our core values. And these are values that are lived, not just spoken. And then this is the season of looking at our commitments that really hold weight because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So under this transit, love becomes something you build, not something you chase. Okay, let's repeat that, please. Love becomes something you build, not something you chase. You know, it's interesting. I've had many conversations recently about what is the feeling of love? What is the embodiment of love? And it's my belief that love, we are inherently love, every single one of us. And when we fall in love, or when we love another person, or when we love a project, when we love a thing, when we love a song, whatever it is, it's reminding us that the love is already within us. And that it's just a reflection and an opportunity for us to see the love that resides within each and every one of us. So it's really interesting. We think love is a feeling, but it's really something that's already within you. And when you are talking about these Venus transits and you're looking at all this, it's about what are the ways in which you are reminded that you are love. So if we look at Venus's transit in Sagittarius that we're coming out of, Venus, you had, some time to really ask yourself what is possible or what else is possible. Where can I go? What can I explore? What opens my world and stretches my perspective? Because Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign, it's about what excites us. There's a need for freedom. It was probably, for many of you, both in relationship or single and dating, or even happily single, whatever it is, Venus in Sagittarius was really trying to expand your horizon and expand what is possible. There was probably a need for a bit more freedom during this transit. While Venus in Capricorn, she's going to really ask you, what am I willing to show up for? Or what are you willing to show up for? And what do you want to build that actually lasts? So with a Venus in Capricorn transit, it's not flashy, it's not performative. It is steady, it is reliable, and most importantly, it's embodied. Embodied. We really, when Venus is in Sag, we're not really fully embodied because Sagittarius energy, which I love, I'm a Sag moon, and Mars and many things, but it's more about chasing excitement, whereas Venus in Capricorn is about shifting from that need for excitement to the need to build something that's really consistent, reliable, and most importantly, grounded, embodied. So you may feel a shift away from casual connections or ambiguous dynamics or relationships that thrive on potential but lack structure. So Venus in Capricorn wants you to know what aligns with your values. If you don't know your values, and our values can shift and change with many different external factors or internal factors, but get to know what you value. So with Venus in Capricorn, can we grow together? Is there potential for this to have long-term growth? Is there mutual respect and accountability? Oh my God, that is like the sexiest word for anybody who has Capricorn energy in their chart. The word accountability, also integrity and respect, like you're speaking their language right now. So that's really important to really focus on those qualities. And this can be for relationships, business relationships, creative projects, how you earn money, even when we're talking about ourselves. And to me, I think one of the most important questions to ask during this Venus in Capricorn transit is, does this support who I am becoming? Oh my God, that just feels good just talking about it. Does this support who I am becoming? You should ask yourself that during this transit. Because this transit is also going to ask you to create a deeper commitment to yourself. To ask you where you have been overextending yourself. Where have you been compromising your values to keep the peace? And again, where you've been chasing excitement at the expense of stability. So Venus in Capricorn reminds us that true security doesn't come from external validation. It comes from self-trust, integrity, and honoring what matters the most to you. So this is an excellent time to define your non-negotiables. And this can be non-negotiables in love, money, creative projects. This is a great time to invest in long-term goals and relationships, to have honest conversations about commitment, to build rituals around self-worth and self-respect, and most importantly, to choose quality over quantity. And this, again, remember, whether in relationship or not, these are important things to know. These are important things to reflect on during this time, because maybe connections have felt a bit scattered and not very grounded. So we want things to become quieter now because we need to build a stronger foundation for ourselves and our relationships and our projects and our money, right? So this is the kind of love and commitment that shows up even when it's inconvenient. The kind that grows through consistency, that doesn't need constant reassurance because it's really rooted and embodied. Now I'm going to go through Venus in Capricorn and how will it impact each sign. So remember, listen for your sun, moon, and especially your rising sign. So Aries, Venus is activating your 10th house of career, your long-term goals, your mission in life. And so relationships may feel more serious, especially if love intersects with work or shared ambitions. You're being asked to consider how partnership supports you and your greater vision, not something that distracts you. And commitment comes through aligned direction and mutual respect for each other's paths. Taurus, Venus is moving through your 9th house of beliefs, meaning, expansion. So this transit really invites you to ground your values around love and purpose. You may feel drawn to partners who expand you intellectually and maybe even spiritually, but in practical, embodied ways. This can also show up as the desire for travel, study, or philosophies that deepen the bond to yourself and also to others. I also kind of see whenever the 9th house is activated, long distance or mentor style relationships may solidify, maybe finding a teacher, even a therapist, somebody that really helps you embody this energy. Okay, Gemini, Venus in Capricorn activates your 8th house of intimacy, trust, and shared resources. So this is really a time to go deeper. This is emotionally, financially, energetically, because surface level dynamics just will not satisfy you right now. So genuine connection requires vulnerability. It requires honesty and accountability around power, money, emotional exchange. Whenever the 8th house is activated, it truly is asking you to go beyond the surface and get to the root, the origin of, not only just your core values, but like even deeper than that, right? What might be getting in the way of living aligned with those values. Cancer, this is happening in your 7th house of partnership. So this is a really potent time, Cancer, for conversations around commitment, or if you're in existing relationships, how can you deepen your relationship or restructure it in a way that is aligned with who you are becoming, especially in the year ahead. New connections tend to be serious, mature, and intentional if you're dating and you're a Cancer. You're learning what it means to consciously choose partnership, not just emotionally, but also practically. It's a very Capricorn thing. Okay, Leo, this is happening. Venus is traveling through your 6th house of your daily routines, your well-being, your daily work. So love shows up through consistency and care in what you do every day. And again, remember, this is also love for yourself. This is a time to tend to your health and the health of your relationships, probably through some better boundaries, because that's a very Capricorn Saturnian thing. Maybe reliability or shared responsibilities need restructuring. Self-worth is going to improve when you organize your daily routines in a way that feels supportive to you. Virgo, Venus brings this commitment energy to your 5th house of creativity, of romance, pleasure, your inner child. So you may crave a love that feels intentional and emotionally mature rather than dramatic, okay? If you're working on creative projects, they're really going to flourish when you approach them with discipline and consistency. If you are somebody who's looking for more romance, you're gonna find something when you have shared values, when there's loyalty, and when mutual effort is happening rather than just excitement, okay? So really feeling into, not only does this excite my inner child, but does my inner child feel safe and held in this connection, in this project? You can apply it to many areas of that. Okay, Libra, this transit of Venus and Capricorn is really drawing your attention inward, because Venus will be moving through your 4th house of home, family, and emotional foundations. So love is going to get a little quieter, a little bit more private, and definitely more rooted in those core values, but even in the deep parts of your emotional world that has kind of more ancestral roots. So you're redefining what emotional safety means to you and how your relationships support your inner world. So commitment's going to begin at home, and the most important is commitment to yourself during this time, because you have to tend to your roots and nourish them. And that's what this transit's really asking you, Libra. Okay, Scorpio, Venus is supporting deeper communication as she moves through your third house of communication, dialogue, learning, connection, especially connection to your local community. So you might really feel drawn to committing to something in your local community. Conversations carry more weight now when Venus is transiting in Capricorn in your third house. And your words become more than just words. They become embodied practices. Relationships strengthen through honesty, follow through. Oh my God, that is such a Capricorn thing. And intentional communication. So this is a really powerful time to articulate your needs clearly and responsibly. Sagittarius, after Venus left your sign, which I love a good Venus transit through a sign, you definitely have a glow up for sure. The focus shifts from exploration to embodiment because she's entering your second house of self-worth, values, and money. The second house is how you earn money. So it's really connected to that relationship to material world. And Venus in Capricorn's asking you to invest in your energy wisely. Invest in people and projects and paths that honor your long-term stability. Security becomes more attractive now, and commitment really begins when you value yourself. Okay, so you have to value yourself in order to commit to something that's sustainable. Capricorn, hello. Venus moves into your first house of identity, presence, self-expression. So it's time for your glow up, Capricorn. Placing love and beauty and desire, at the forefront of your energy right now. You may feel more magnetic, more grounded, more clear about what you want because you just had Venus transiting through your 12th house of clearing out, old patterns. So you're really deepening through not only self-respect, but showing up authentically in relationships, especially relationships with yourself, that you're committing to yourself, you're committing to what you desire to build, in the year to come, especially around relationships. Okay, Aquarius, Venus activates your 12th house of the subconscious, closure and healing. So love is going to feel more subtle, more private, and especially more karmic during this time. When Venus is transiting through your 12th house, it's a reflective cycle for examining past patterns and unconscious values. You're really releasing what no longer aligns, creating space for more grounded connections and or projects moving forward. And Pisces, Venus in Capricorn is transiting your 11th house of community, friendships, networks, and the shared vision really comes into focus during this time because the 11th house is connected to our long-term goals and the community that supports those goals. So you're discerning which connections are truly supportive and which ones are draining. And love grows where there is mutual respect, shared purpose, and aligned values for the future. So upon reflection of this transit, Venus in Capricorn teaches us that love is not just a feeling, but it's a practice of embodiment. It's what you choose when the excitement fades. It's how you show up when things get real. Wow, that is the true test to any relationship. And it's commitment to what matters the most. So one of the things I want you to ask yourself during this transit is, what am I building? What am I investing my time and energy and, most importantly, my love? Okay, and with that, I am sending you all love and happy holidays. And hopefully, I love actually that we're having Venus in Capricorn shift, on December 24th, because it really is going to feel more rooted, more grounded. And one of the things I would say, the shadow side of Capricorn, is watch for those over-boundaried energy, in the sense of closing your heart off too much. So really focus on opening your heart. I'm going to do a podcast on this because I'm actually doing a 10-day heart opening and healing plant medicine journey with Babansana, which is a beautiful plant that is meant to heal the heart and open her. And as I prepare for the new year, so I'll do a bit of a reflection on that. I just started it last night, and God, plants are amazing. And when we're talking about Venus and Capricorn, it's the most embodied practice for me is incorporating plants into anything I do. So, okay, I need to stop rambling. Have